grocery store, and somebody said I looked very young. So, winner. I don't know if you want to leave a comment and guess how old I am, or how old do you think I am. I know I've said it a number of times, but I am 34 years old. This young face here, it's because I never go outside. And I never have fun, I never drink alcohol or smoke cigarettes or do drugs. So, that's the trick to staying young, I guess. Or maybe it's just good genetics. Anyway, so, been thinking lately. It's getting towards the end of the year. So, it's time to start thinking about goals for 2021. And, all gas, no braking. My 2020 goals as much as I can to accomplish as much as I can. I'm about 50% completion right now, and there's about less than 25% of the year left. So, need to really gas it up a little bit. Anyway, so I've just kind of been thinking. So I haven't really written anything down. So I just kind of want to riff, and just kind of have a dialogue and just start rambling because I know it's just gonna put you to sleep. And I know I get really excited and fixated on goals and setting stupidly ambitious goals. Which is funny, I hung out with my ex, not my most recent ex, but the ex that I spent the most time with, she made some videos for this channel. If you go back far enough, you see some lady hands, those are her hands. But we talked the other day, and she's like, it's the end of the year, so it's, what that means, and she's like, oh, your stupid goals. And we had a little chat about that, and she was like, I always liked that you had goals. I always just thought they were way too ambitious. And I was like, that's the point of the goals. And she goes, yeah, but they made you super depressed when you, realized you weren't gonna hit them. And I was like, that was true. Because I used to get, crushingly depressed about it, for, the last 3 months of the year. But now I'm just like, I'll get no breaks, let's do it. And I just realize, I think, when I set the goals that I'm not gonna accomplish most of them. But it's like, you aim for the moon, and if you miss, you end up in the stars still. So I'd rather aim too high. I've just gotten better at, tempering my expectations. I'm, probably not going to accomplish all of these, which is fine. But I'd rather aim for the moon and miss. Also, I don't know, I'm realizing I make that pop sound a lot. Does that annoy anybody? Leave a comment down below. I want the comments. Give me your comments. Apparently that helps YouTube channels grow, so if you want to help me out, I will stop making the pop noise if you want me to, but you gotta leave a comment telling me to stop. Now I'm hyper aware of it, and I'm gonna just do it all the time. I'll be like, I'm so sorry, please don't. Click off the video, because I made the popping sign. I promise I won't do it anymore. Anyway, so, let's just riff. So again, if you don't know, I've been setting goals. I've been doing it for 10 years now. And I've learned a lot of things. So here's some things that I've learned offhand. 1, limit the number of goals. 10 feels like a good number. The first year I did it, I did a bucket list sort of thing. So a lot of the goals were just one thing, pass fail. And I came up with 150 ideas. And I was like, no problem. And I did none of them. It just was too much. And I didn't even think about it. And the list got lost after 2 months. And then I was just like, oh well. So then I pared it down to 20, and then that went to 12, because I was like, well, one a month. And then I was like, no, do 10, because that's one a month with 2 months of oh, okay, well, let's, you need some overage. So if you do 5 months where you work on one goal a month, that 6th month is kind of just bonus month to really attack a goal that was harder than you thought it would. So that's one tip. Keep it to 10. I still think going overly ambitious is the way to go. But again, temper your expectations so you don't end up like me where you get super depressed for 2 months because you're not going to accomplish your goals, so you just stop trying everything. And instead you just gotta if you know yourself and you don't have that all gas no brakes mentality, then maybe year-long goals aren't great for you. Maybe just set a couple, and then instead set short-term monthly or weekly goals, and that might be something to start with. And why start now? I mean, there's 75 days, something like that, left in the year. what can you do in 75 days? Okay, now, like, stretch that up. Like, what can you stretch for? You know, like, if you think, like, okay, well, if I walk, let's say if you walk every day, 6,000 steps, like on your Apple Watch, your Fitbit, or whatever, like, could you do 8,000? Okay, what's 8,000 times 75? Like, make that your target. Like, keep track and see where it goes. That's if you want to get healthy. That's an example for you. Or, some other ones. We're going to go through them. We're going to go through some options that I'm going to come off my dome. Some things I've been rolling around in my head. So, another thing I've learned is something I've tried this year for the first time. I'm calling them cluster goals. And so, oftentimes I'll set a goal, but like the intention is something else. So, for example, I'll say like, okay, I want to get healthy. Like, how can I get healthy knowing myself, having that self-awareness? Like, the self-awareness is a big key in setting goals. And it's like, okay, I really like to play hockey. I really like to ride my bike. So, I set, like with hockey, I could set multiple goals. I could say, I want to get on the ice so many times. I want to, like, spend so much time off ice practicing. So much time, like, just shooting pucks to become a better shot so I can score more goals. And so, instead of just, like, how many times can I get on the ice, I created a cluster goal. So the 3 goals became 1 goal, and it's like hockey goals, which has come in a lot of handy this year because I'm still sketched out about getting on the ice. So having the 3 goals all count as 1, I could just off ice practice a lot more, and that compensates. So if you were like, I want to get healthy, you could be like, okay, well, you could have a step goal for the year, which is something I did, and you could have like a bike goal for the year, and you could have like those 2 could be like your health goals. So that's something I've been kind of rolling around in my brain, is like, how can I incorporate that into my next year's goals? Like, really, goals 2.0, we're really revamping it this year. We're taking the last decade and like, we're gonna, really create something special, So, anyway, so those are the things I've learned about, keep it to 10, think about cluster goals, think about self-awareness, why you want to do these things, and don't make them arbitrary, make them real things. And if you can't come up with 10, don't do 10, do 5, like whatever, like, do 8, do 7, who cares? The numbers doesn't matter. 10 just seems like a good number to me. But do what works for you. And so, to that end, in the history of my goals, kind of the categories have always been centered around like career / like money / income, like experiences has been one. So like this year, originally I was like, go to 50 networking events, and networking events was very loosely defined to be like, meetings for associations, or like lunch, coffee, beer with a friend, like whatever. I feel like I'm out of breath. It's really hot in here. I could turn the air on. It hasn't kicked on yet. Because my AC's been off. Because it's kind of cold outside. But like, I don't know what. My apartment just gets hot. It doesn't matter what the temperature is. It gets to 80 degrees every time. It's like 40 degrees outside right now. Nebraska. It's starting to get cold. Anyway. So categories have always been health-based, income, career-based, experience-based. Those have always been kind of the 3 big categories because they're easy to quantify. I think, you can. And one, also to go back, one thing I've also learned is don't make a goal of like, I'm going to make sure your goals are 100% in your wheelhouse. That's the wrong word I'm thinking of. You want to take ownership of your goals. So, for example, you can't be like, I am going to sell X number of what, if you have a job where you sell things, you're going to be like, I'm going to sell, 20 houses this year, because you can't really control that. There could be a recession. or the housing market could collapse, or whatever. And now you only sell 10 houses, but 10 houses is still really good for the conditions. You're still gonna be bummed. So they have to be input based. Okay, so let's remind. Okay, so 10 goals or less. Think about cluster goals potentially. Goals should be effort based. Things that just measure your effort, because, as Marcus Aurelius said, we're only entitled to our efforts, not the rewards that come from them. But then, as I think Vince Lombardi said, if you take care of the work, the score will take care of itself. So, there's another way to think of that, both ways. I forgot the other ones, but you remember them. Rewind the video. This is gonna be an hour-long one, I can already tell. We're already at 10 minutes and I've barely started talking. You're welcome, internet. 1 hour ASMR. Oh man, I should make some tea. Because my throat's gonna be hurting after this one. Is my hair getting pushed up? Yeah. I don't know. My hair today is just like, wants to be puffy. Whatever. Okay, so we've talked about the things that make up my goals, my rules for goal setting. So, and we talked about categories a little bit. So going into next year, I'm gonna just start riffing on some ones that I really want to do. I kind of want to do 365 movies again, but I think I might cut that number down, because what I find is when I have like this arbitrary movie number, like if I get behind, then I have to start doing like 3 or 4 movies a day, and then I'm just like, I tune out. I'm not really getting the movies. So I think I might want to watch and review for my YouTube channel. It's called So Good at Movies. If you want to follow me, reviewing movies at So Good at Movies. I've posted a couple reviews. I haven't done anything since like May, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, I think if I watched and reviewed 100 movies, then I can be a little more. I don't have to like really struggle and be like, I don't really feel like, I'm just watching something dumb. I can focus on good movies, because that's only 2 a week, but then also like really engross myself and really think about why I like the movie. And then I could also have a piece of content, which is great, because this year one of the goals was create 500 YouTube videos, which is an insane number, I realize. And right now, as I'm at, this is 207, so, which is still, like, when you think about it, you're like, oh man, I'm not even halfway. And then any normal person would shake you and go, you made 207 YouTube videos, you mad human. Like, what is wrong with you? And you're sad about that, you didn't make enough. Like, darn, I only made 207 YouTube videos. And there's still 75 days left, and I'm gonna make 75 more. You can't stop me. I'm gonna make 200 more. Stop me. Let's go. Okay, no breaks. Scary AS, bully ASMR. I'm gonna bully you into watching all my videos. So if I watched 100 films and then made 100 pieces of content related to them, that's a pretty good goal. So I think that might be good. I should get some notes going here. Where are all my notepads? All my notepads are not. I cleaned up the apartment so that when Lauren came over, I shouldn't have done that, because now I don't have any notepads within reach, because I'm a big dumb idiot. Oh wait, there's one. There might be some noise here. Sorry. That wasn't so bad. Notepad. Okay. So here we go. Potential goals. 2021. Watch and review 100 films. Nice. That's definitely going on the list. Okay, so when we think about things, there was a video I made recently about let's be everyone's cheerleader, and think I want to send nice messages to people, and I've been doing that pretty successfully, I think. But I haven't quantified it. I haven't data tracked it. But I think that's a good habit, and I want that to become a habit. So I'm gonna say daily. I think that'd be a daily because it doesn't take any time to comment something nice on someone's or send them a nice, thoughtful message. So if I did 365, that would be a good number. But my brain wants more than that. My brain, but also it might get weird if I say 500 and then I don't keep up on it, because then I could ostensibly, be like, it's December and I've only done 300, so I'm gonna send out 100 messages today that are nice, and then they might not feel as heartfelt and honest. So let's do 250, because that's just during the weekdays, right? That's 50 weeks a year. I know there's 52, but again, give yourself some bonus room. So let's say 250 nice messages. And that's for you, JMO Party Cat. You're gonna keep your memory alive by sending people some nice messages. Okay. So that's one. I know I really want to do that one. One of my goals this year was to pick up litter, and I set the goal at 5,000, which was kind of an arbitrary number, but also it goes back to 50 weeks of activity. That's 100 pieces of trash a week. That's 20 a day if you do 5 days a week. And I walk bare 2-3 times a day. So it's okay, that conceivably is only 7 or 8 per walk, give or take, So I think 5,000 is a good number. The problem was, it comes down to the availability of trash, in that the trash is not always available. Like when I go to the park with Bear, sometimes we'll pick up 100 pieces and sometimes we'll pick up 10. So it just, but I still feel like 5,000 is a good number. So I'm gonna write that one down again. 5K trash pickup. Okay. So, one that I've been chasing for a really long time, but have not really done much with, is 1,000 miles on bikes. And I think the best I've ever gotten was 500, and I'm at 200 now. So the odds of that one getting completed are pretty low. Not impossible. I could still gain a lot of ground on it. But it's something I've been chasing for a long time, and I want to accomplish that, so I'm gonna put that on there again. 1,000 miles on bikes. Okay. This year I also did a step goal, which was 3 million steps for the whole year. And I think if it wasn't for all my health problems, I probably would have crushed that one. But because of I had surgery on my foot, so there were days where I had under 1,000 steps. And you just can't predict that. There's a month like that. And even now, with the blister and the foot ulcer, it's limited me again. And I'm still not that far off. I could still conceivably make that one. Also, because I realized that with hockey stick handling, it counts as steps on my watch. So, a half-hour session gives me 2,000 steps. So I think we can do it, but I'm gonna step it up, because I almost did it, even with my injuries. So I'm gonna step that one up to 4 million steps, and that might become a cluster goal with miles on the bike. 4 million steps. That's 1 million a quarter. So that's 1 million every 3 months. Doable. I like it. And I've also been thinking about doing activity points on the old watch, because I always try to fill my rings. I always try to get 1,000 activity points on the Apple Watch, and I'm doing pretty good today. You can't read it. I'm at 626 today, but some days I hit 2,000. So maybe I could do, what if I did, 1,000 a day, 365 days, but step it up. What do you think, 500,000? 500,000 activity points. Of course, that does preclude if the watch breaks. That would require me to get an emergency watch, which, I mean, depending on my income at the time, that's a risk of behavior. But if we're wrapping that into a cluster goal, I'm not as worried about it. So, let's do it. 500,000 activity points. Nice. Okay, that's a good one. So that's my first cluster goal. 1,000 miles on bikes, 4 million steps, 500,000 activity points. That's a good, I like those 3 goals. That's making me, I'm getting excited. It's starting to pump up. Also, I got so excited that my Tingle just got achieved. I don't know how, but Apple Watch, super accurate. I've been sitting here for the last 21 minutes. This video's definitely gonna hit an hour. There's no way it's not. Let's see the battery. I got 94 minutes on the battery, and let's see how late the light holds out. I'll just plug it in if it goes out. Already about halfway done with the water, so but that's okay. We're halfway done with our hour video. Not really. We're a third of the way done. Gotta slow down on the water. Okay, so watch and review 100 films, 250 nice messages, 5,000 trash pickups, and then cluster goal 1. 1,000 miles on bikes, 4 million steps, 500,000 activity points. Now, I do want to do hockey goals again, but the problem is, I've been going so hard on the hockey goals. I'm getting, I don't know what the term is, but it's just like overuse into this shoulder because it's tucked in so much, for so long, for a half hour a day. So it's starting to cause issues. So, I don't know how I can set that hockey goal up. I know hockey brings me a ton of joy, and being good at it is important to me because I'm a competitive tryhard. So, I don't know how that one's gonna work. I might put that aside as like a side quest, and just lower the number. Or maybe I can make it like workout time, which would go along into the cluster goal, and then hockey's just part of that, and I just don't quantify the hockey time. Which actually, that might make sense. I might just take a break from the hockey goals and just, try to get on the ice as much as I can once COVID vaccines roll out. Because that's kind of what I'm waiting on at this point. I don't see, right now, like, Douglas County's getting slammed. Like, we're at the highest caseloads we've ever been, like, for the whole time. And I don't see that slowing down. People are out there, all gas, no braking. I look at Instagram and I just see people's stories are just going out. And I'm just like, I know you're bored, man, but please stay home. Like, and it's like 1,000 people, like, this week. And you're like, that's like 1% of the population. No, it's not. Wait. I guess it's a 1/10 of a percent of the population is getting sick. Because there's like 1 million people in the Omaha metro area. It's about 1 million. Anyway, let's not talk about bad things. Let's talk about good things. Let's talk about goals. Let's talk about all gas, no brakes. One of my goals this year was 50 books, and I'm at 26. I'm on 27 right now. I'm reading 27, which I think is a good goal. That's like 1 a week again with 2 weeks off. But I might go the route of watch and review 100 films and take that number down to, if I did 48, that's 4 a month. Or if I did 36, but then also made a piece of content off the book. That could be good, because that would give a lot of content from my other channel, which is about filmmaking, but I also want to expand it to be about filmmaking and self-development through a creative lens. So like self-development for creators, because I feel like that space is not really explored, which really kind of reminds me of like the idea of like, one thing I want to talk about, eventually I'll make a whole video about this, but it's just like your deck of cards is what makes you a person of interest. So like what are you good at? What do you like? You know, everybody has a deck of cards, and so the more cards you have, the better your hand is. You know, so like you could think about like, okay, you know, I play guitar and I make films. Like, okay, there's two things right there. It's like, okay, well, you could, with your guitar, you probably know musicians. You can make music videos. Cool. Or you could score movies. Cool. Okay. Or you can make guitar lesson videos. Like, cool. Okay. It's like add one more thing to that. Like, what if you were also good at? I'm trying to think what would pair well with those two. I don't know. If you drawing blanks, you could make, okay, well, let's say you're a chef. You could make songs about food, and then make videos. I don't know, you know, okay, there's three things. But okay, let's get a different example. Like, say you run a business, okay? And you like to read, okay? So you can read books about business and you could, you know, implement that into your business. And then you like to public speak. So, okay, now you can do talks about how you read books and implemented them into your business. And then maybe you like to write, okay, now you can write books. And like, okay, maybe you're into photography, and so you make like a photo book about business. You know, it kind of goes like back to when I did that, when I talked about comedy. I don't know if you remember that, about how comedy works. It's just like the more things you have, you just look at them and you draw connections. But anyway, the point is, like, your interests and your expertise, and you put them together. Like, if you know how to build stuff and you are into filmmaking, you could become, you know, a set designer or a grip, or, you know, a stage carpenter, a set carpenter. And if you like photography, it's like, okay, you could build the set and then take pictures of the production, and you become the behind the scenes photographer. Like, now you got two jobs from one job. Cool. Or like, you get into audio and you could build the set and then be the audio guy. Or you're an audio guy and you learn how to do drones. Now you can fly the drone after you do the audio for the interview. There's a guy I know that I work with a lot that does that. So it's like, how can you add to your card stack? So, that got way off topic, and it was like 5 minutes of off topic. But, you know, adding skills to my card stack is something I should be thinking about for 2021, especially with the volatility of this year. It's really given me, and I read this book called Range by David Epstein, and it was a really good book. I highly recommend that one. But it kind of just talks about, you know, how important it is to have the range of skills. Again, specifically, he doesn't talk about the card stack idea. That's my own personal idea. Don't steal it. TM, trademark. I'm sure I probably stole it from somewhere else. I just don't remember where. Anyway, so what could I implement? I've wanted to learn After Effects, which is graphic stuff, but it feels kind of boring to me. It doesn't seem like the kind of work I'd really be interested in, but it would be handy. I've thought about drones, and I've had drones. I've owned 2 drones before, but I always get real skittish about flying them. But the drones, they keep getting better and better. Of course, the flip side of that means, like, the stability of that industry. Like, everybody has a drone now, and they're getting kind of played out. People don't even care about drones shots as much as they used to. They're still cool when used right, but, you know, if I got my FAA license and insurance and all that stuff, but that seems like a lot of cost for not a lot of reward back. I don't know, but I might put drones, especially like the new Cinewhoops, which are like these little drones that can fly through tight spaces, but they're really hard to fly. So that could be a potential skill that goes in line. And also, they're so small that if they crash, it's not as big of a deal. Of course, you also have to know how to repair them, which requires some soldering knowledge and stuff. So that's getting into like a really expensive hobby, so I don't know if I really want to do that one. But I'm gonna write down drones question mark, because that could be a good thing. I think I want to do, 500 YouTube videos was a lot, but I still think it's an accomplishable amount, especially if the whisper videos aren't that hard to make. They're a little time consuming. I'll probably spend 2 hours on each one, just like, even if I sit down and riff, getting it over to the computer, rendering it out, uploading it, which, the second half of that doesn't take much of my personal time. I can walk away from the computer's just locked up for that time. But there is that motivation to keep doing it, and I'm doing pretty good, I think. I haven't missed a day in a while. But 500 videos, I think that's a good one. I'm gonna do that one again, 500 YouTube videos. So back to books. Books was on there. I like 50. 50 is a good number. It also lets me read fiction. Whereas if I did 36, like self-improvement books, I guess it's really not that bad. If I read 36 books, and then, made commentary on them for my YouTube channel, then I could read fiction for fun. But I don't know if I would read fiction for fun. That's the thing, Maybe I can make it a cluster goal. What if I did 24? Let's do, okay, here we go. Here's cluster goal number 2. We're gonna read 24 self-dev books and content from them. And then we're gonna read 24 fiction books, which is more fiction than I've ever read before. Nice. Okay. That's cluster goal 2. Books. Although really that should be 3 goals, I think. Reading 24 self-dev books and read, let's do that. Let's make that 3 goals. Make 24 self-dev content. Because that way, if there's a book that I could conceivably take one book and pull many lessons out of, I think that's a little more interesting. Let's do that. That's a good. I like that. Okay, we're at 30 minutes, so we're halfway to our hour-long whisper ramble about goal setting for 2021. Yes, orchestral breaks. I wonder if I could break up the 500 YouTube videos. Could that be like a set number per channel? So that way I can't just make like 365 whisper videos. That's most of it. Oh, I'm sure you all would love that. Too bad. Okay, so here's what we got so far. Watch and review 100 films, 250 nice messages, and I think there should be messages, not comments, because comments are easier to make. A message invites a back and forth so it creates a different mindset of like it has to go be a message of content that provides back and forth, or an opportunity for back and forth. That other person might just be thank you, and then that's it. But it's more, so it's also like one part cheerleading, one part networking, ulterior motives, dun dun dun. But overall, it's putting positivity out in the world. It's reminding people I exist. And your goals can absolutely have selfish reasons, like why does every goal have to be, none of your goals have to be for the good of the world, but doing good things for the world does make you feel better. So, recommend it. Okay, so we're reading 24 self-dev books, reading 24 fiction books, we're making 24 bits of self-dev content. Okay, another goal I want to do, I want to get better at guitar again, because I want to be able to, do my own hours for videos or work towards that place where maybe I can create some kind of ambient stock music soundscape stuff. So I think 100 hours of guitar practice could be good. And maybe that becomes my next cluster goal of personal work. So I could do, I do photography and I do filmmaking. So I could do 100 hours of guitar practice, and then maybe I could do 50 personal photo shoots where it's not for money. 50 seems like a lot, because that's one a week. I don't always have time for that, although I do want to be taking more photos. And what's a personal photo shoot? I could just be going to the park with my camera, just make it really simple. I don't think it should have an end client necessarily, but it could. So what if it was also I'm thinking about doing micro shorts, which is like minute-long little fun videos. So if I said, because 50 micro shorts could be a lot too, but if I just did 50 shoots, I don't know how to quantify that, so 100 hours of guitar practice, and 50 shoots for 50 personal shoots where an end product was created, whether that be a gallery of photographs or a video. And that would be separate from YouTube, with the exception of, we would be uploading them to YouTube, so they would count for the YouTube goal. Because I've been thinking about a project, I think it's a video project. It's like part video, part time lapse. It's just called Empty Spaces, and I just want to film empty spaces, like a playground in the morning, where it's just like there's no one around, and just really record that. And I think it could be very nice and peaceful. I think it would go on my white noise channel. But maybe I could make 1-minute cuts and put those up on YouTube as just like kind of a nice little video project idea. So if I made, could I make 100? That's 2 a week. 100 personal shoots. That's an ambitious number. Man, that's a hard one. Let's write X personal shoots for now and move on to the next thing. Personal shoots. Photo/video. That's good. Okay, I feel good with that. And it could just be 48, because that would be 4 a month, which is doable, because most months I have most of a week free, at least 1 week, a year, or a month rather, sorry. So that could be another cluster goal. And I feel like a cluster goal should have 3. 3 seems like a good number, and I'm basing that off nothing other than, my noggin. So what could be creativity based? That's 100 hours of guitar practice, X number of personal shoots. Maybe I could do scripts, because I've wanted to do screenwriting. So let's say 12 short films, 12 short film scripts. And then maybe I could actually make some of them. Or maybe it could be 24. And then I could allow sketches to be a thing too. That's 2 a month. That's doable. It's very doable. Okay, so doing pretty good. We got some creativity goals. We've got some self-development reading goals. We've got our health goals. What else could we do? I suppose I could wrap YouTube videos up into the creative goals. Maybe I can make four. Four for a cluster goal also seems like a good number because that's, again, you think about quarters and you think about, okay, what divides into 12, like 3 and 4. So, but you could also think about 50 weeks, so 5 could also work, or 10. 3, 4, 5, 10, those are kind of good numbers, it seems like, for goal setting for a year. I'm going to write that down, 3, 4, 5, 10. I need to take some notes about my rules. Okay, rules, 3, 4, 5, 10. Good goal numbers. 2 cluster goals. 3 limit number of goals. Can't shoot at too many targets, of course. 4. What else was on the list? I don't remember all my goals. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this video myself. Categories, I guess. Oh yeah, 5. You have ownership. I mean, obviously they have to be SMART goals. Which, if you're not familiar with SMART goal setting criteria, it's specific, measurable, I don't remember, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. But attainable and realistic sound like the same number, but whatever, who cares? Shut up. I don't know why I'm telling myself to shut up. Okay, so I got 6 rules. Maybe I'll make 10. 10's a good number. Okay, so let's review where we're at. Possible goals. I spelled potential wrong. Potential. Goals 2021. I was writing too fast. Watch and review 100 films. 250 nice messages. 5,000 pieces of trash picked up. Cluster goal 1. So this is 4. 1,000 miles on the bike. 4 million steps. 500,000 activity points. Maybe I could sneak the hockey goal in there, which would be, I think the goal for this year was 75 times on the ice. We don't know when we're going to get back on the ice, so that's a bad goal because I don't have control over it. Hopefully, next year, by the spring, I'll be playing hockey again. Who knows? Drones, question mark, which I don't know. That's kind of a vague goal. I don't really know what to do with that. 500 YouTube videos, which could go back into our cluster goals. Cluster goal 2, that would be now 5, number 5. We're going to read 24 self-development books. We're going to read 24 fiction books, and we're going to make 24 self-development content pieces. And then 6 creative goals, 100 hours of guitar practice, X number of personal shoots, photo/video. Could be 100, could be 48, could be 50, could be 36, could be 24, who knows? And 12 short film scripts, or 24 sketches and short films. Because my preference, I read it. Starting to get to me. 44 minutes, 15 more minutes, we got this. I was reading in the Chuck Palahniuk book, he talks about short stories, and like how short stories are kind of punk rock, and I'm like, they are, and short film is kind of like that, so, I'm leaning towards keeping the short films short. 24 makes a better number, I think, so I'm leaning towards 24. Sketches and shorts. Whatever. It's my goal, so I can set my own rules. Okay, so that's 6 goals. That's not bad, because that gives me 2 months to really hone in on each one. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. That's 6 if I roll 500 YouTube videos into the creative goal. Okay. Should I just go after 6 goals? How am I doing? I'm missing experiences. I mean, I get the messages. Taking Bear to the park has always been giving me a lot of joy, gives him joy. But I feel like every year I get towards the end of the year and I'm like, oh, like this, I've been taking Bear to the park a ton these last 2 months, like 3 or 4 times a week, and I'm not doing it as regularly as I should throughout the whole year. So maybe I just need to make that goal harder, and that will like force me to take Bear more regularly and to get in on it, and more time outside, more time away from screens. That's kind of the big message of 2021 is like I want to be less passive and more active in creating things, creating good things. So maybe, or I could go the other way and I could say I want to take Bear to the park 24 times, but with another person, and that gives me that kind of networking edge. But then I gotta find people with dogs whose dogs are compatible with Bear. Could be a little tricky, although that really would only be 24 times, would be twice a month with the same person. Or if I found 3 people, that's really not that hard to do, I don't think. So, it would be nice to take people to the park, take dogs to the park. That reminds me, I should call my friend Lacey. She moved back to town. She was living in Delaware with this boy that she was quite fond of. They dated for a long time here in Omaha, then they moved out there. And I don't know what went wrong, but I haven't really talked to her in like a long time. But she's been back in Omaha for like over a year. And we used to be not super close, but we'd hang out because she was friends with the singer in my band, and they lived together. My singer was a lady too, so it was like a house full of girls, and I was pretty close with them because I would be their big protector guy, and I carried them all drunk home at least once. So I carried Lacey home the most. Good guy me, carrying home drunk female friends and not trying to be inappropriate with them. Most guys won't do that. I don't know, that could make, I feel like most guys would be good about that and not try to take advantage of their drunk female friends. I would hope so. Jeez. That's a low bar. I don't know, I'm not proud of that. It's not, that's such a low bar to be like, yeah, I'll carry your dumb drunk asshole. Because they would always drink way too much. Like, fall down, blackout drunk. And there was more than one time where I had to like tell guys specifically to F off because like, she's clearly not in a place to get in a car with you to go to another place, sir. Like, go away or I'm going to have to fight you. And I'm much bigger than you. It's not going to end well, probably for either of us, but I'll do what I gotta do. Break my little she's 4'11". Lacey was so short, so small. Probably saved them from getting abducted at least once. Anyway. Humans are trash. Well, guys in their early 20s apparently. That's neither here nor there. Okay, let's talk about goals. Good things. Positivity. All gas, no brakes. I made kettlebells a goal one year, but I think that gets back into the hockey problem of like, if I don't keep up on it, then I'm just loading my body to do the weird kettlebell thing. And one goal I've wanted to do for a long time is like number of pounds moved, but I feel like that's so complicated to track. So that I don't think is a good one either. Running low on goals and ideas. I'm trying to think, because I've been thinking about this. I saw a tweet today that it was like, okay, if people don't want to date you, like become a better human. And you're like, yeah, obviously, like that makes total sense. But it's like, what makes a complete man? It's like, okay, well, like finances and career, gotta get that together. Like, okay, that's been the big, I've been talking about that too much. I said I wasn't gonna talk about that for a week, at least. So getting that together is good. You think about relationships, not necessarily as far as romantic, but like friendships and family. But I don't know how you quantify that. That's my problem, is that I don't know how to quantify. You can't really make a goal. You can make a goal of like number of times hanging out, but like there's no like spectrum for how good or bad like there's no point system. I can't grade how good a hangout was. I mean I could, but like it'd be arbitrary. There'd be no way to quantify it. So like okay, that goes in there. You know, your spirituality I think is maybe part. Okay, so there was an episode of 30 Rock where Jack Donaghy does. He Six Sigmas himself, and like makes a pie chart to fill in of like different quantities. And I know Ron Swanson in Parks and Rec has the Pyramid of Manliness. So maybe I need to consult those two things. And I'm sure How I Met Your Mother has something in there from Barney about being a man, but it's probably gross and really toxic. Because that show did not age great, especially the Barney character. Yeah. MPH is great though. We love MPH. Just like that Barney character, it's a time capsule, and that time quickly did not age well. Okay. Man. What else do I want to do? Maybe I need to create a bucket list. Well, let's write down bear parks. Because that's an experience. Maybe that could be the next cluster goal, is bear parks. And then networking that I had this year, which I can't, you know, it's like, it's hard to quantify that in a global pandemic, but people are already kind of hanging, you know, I've had some hangout times with, you know, Lauren could be considered a hangout time. Like a date could be considered networking because I've gotten her jobs before because she's an actress. So it works both ways. You know, she might know somebody someday that needs a camera op or needs headshots, and she has recommended me for things. So that's good. You know, build rapport, networking, bear adventures. So what would be the third and fourth event for that? I used to do new restaurants, and I wanted to do cooking, but cooking never worked out because I'd always be lazy about it. But I should learn how to cook better, or at least maybe not better, just new things. Because most of my cooking is like very like, especially now that I'm diabetic, I probably could learn to cook some new stuff. But cooking just seems so complicated. I'm more of a basic like chicken, vegetables, or like tacos, or like mac and cheese and hot dogs. Like that's my bread and butter. And I'm happy to eat that all day. I don't get sick of any of those. I could eat chicken and veggies for every meal. I could eat tacos for every meal. I could eat burrito bowls. I can't do eggs for every meal. I get sick of eggs. I have to like cycle eggs. I know they're really good for you. But really, cooking is, that's the self-awareness thing. I know I'm not gonna cook. But I was doing new restaurants. And I did do 50 new restaurants. But I'm also trying to save money, get my money thing together. So eating out 50 times once a week is kind of a lot. But maybe I could combine cooking with restaurants, with going out. And I could say 50 new consumables, things I've never had before. So I can still go to if one restaurant has 50 different items, I can go there 50 times and order 50 things. Or it could be drinks, you know, like I've never had a pumpkin spice latte. You could do that. And of course, if you're doing coffee drinks, how do you do, I mean, you could do iced, it could be a separate thing. That's getting too complicated, I think. But I think 50 new food / drink items, because there's a lot of drinks I haven't tried, so that could be good. And then I could cook too. If I want to save money, I could cook 50 new things. So 50 new food, drink, that's a maybe. But that could complete the cluster goal. I would put concerts on there because I like going to concerts and I like going to see live theater. But again, that might not come back, you know, next year. It might take till the end of the year, then I'm trying to get 50 in the last like 3 months, and I'm just going to stuff I don't care about. I do like art too, art exhibits, and art exhibits are open again. So maybe I could do 12 art exhibits. That could be maybe a thing. 12 art exhibits. Because there's a number of galleries here in Omaha, and I work at some of them. Art exhibits. I'll put / concerts. Because concerts are art. That's an exhibit. I don't know. 12, that's once a month. You know, I'm getting older and I'm like less and less interested in going out, but it could be something. Okay, man. The water, we're at 55 minutes. 56 almost. Oh, I'm almost done with the water. So that's good. I'm feeling really good about these goals coming together. Okay, let's review where we're at. Watch and review 100 films, 250 nice messages, 5,000 pieces of trash picked up, 1,000 miles on bikes, 4 million steps, 500,000 activity points, 500 YouTube videos, but that might get rolled into the creativity goal, cluster goal. Excuse me, burp there. Books, read 24 self-dev books, read 24 fiction books, make 24 self-dev content, creativity, 100 hours of guitar practice, some number of personal shoots, photo/video, some number of short films and sketches. I'm thinking 24, that's a good number. And then cluster goal 4, bear parks, taking bear to the park on the Ventures. Networking, could be 50, although 48 makes more sense for that goal, or even 36, a little more achievable, especially given that quarantine is still going to be a thing, and networking events may or may not be a possibility, but one-on-one time could be. 50 new food/drink things, but also, I feel like I shouldn't. So here's the thing with the food and drink, is like, what if I go to the store and buy a frozen thing? Does that count? I don't know if that should count or not. And I know, like, in the past I've done it because I did 50 vegan things, and so I was buying just a lot of stuff from the store, like especially convenient stuff, and that actually was kind of nice. But like, if they come out with a new type of Mountain Dew, just trying all 12 different Mountain Dews, does that count? I don't think it should. So I think it should be, when I say food/drink, I mean prepared. More than one ingredient. You can't just buy it off the shelf. That could be something to really kind of make it have to count. Or I could say, 50 new food drink that like has to be prepared by a human hands. Yeah, that's good, because then I'm not just copping out and trying vegan frozen food, which that's really that's nice, because I have a lot of vegan friends, and I have a lot of friends who are like interested in vegan, and I know vegan's more often healthy, but frozen vegan food isn't really that much healthier. So and or 12 art exhibits, concerts, theater events, art exhibits, concerts, performance art. Let's say that performance art counts instead of concerts, because concerts are performance art, I think. And comedy could work, a theater could work, depends on what's available. And then 12, I think, is a small enough number that's one a month. Usually the galleries do change over once a month, and we're at 59 minutes, so we're gonna hit the goal. Okay, so we've got 4 cluster goals, plus watch and review 100 films, 250 nice messages, 3,000 pieces of trash. So that brings you up to 7 goals, 8 if you count 500 YouTube videos. So I need to think up 2 more goals. Or that could be 7 if you don't count those. Although I could wrap up watch and review 100 films into the creativity. I don't know. There's a lot to think about still. So, but this has given me a really good jumping off point, and we are officially at 1 hour, depending on how much I cut off at the beginning, but it's usually not more than like 10 seconds, which is like 2, 1, boom, 1 hour, 1 hour ramble. I could talk about voice will give out. I was thinking about this. I'm like, if I whisper too much too long, am I gonna damage my vocal cords? So I might do the whisperies less, like shorter or less often but longer. I don't know. Something I've been thinking about. Or just always have drinks and tea and keep lubed. And then do vocal rest after, which is important. But I think I'm at a good point for today. Thank you all for your help. If you have some ideas for my goals, drop them down below and think about your goals. Drop them down below. I'd love to help you plan your goals for the year. Nothing gets me more excited than goal setting. I should be a life coach. I think I'd be good at it because I'm really good at giving people advice. Anyway, I don't know. I would feel weird about taking money for that. So, this is a free offer for life coaching. Drop some comments down below. Let's talk about your goals for 2021. If you've never set goals before, let's set some 3-month goals for this year. Yes. All gas, no breaks. I hope you're asleep. And if you're not asleep, I hope you're pumped and you get up and you make a list of goals that you're going to crush for the end of 2020. And you set up goals for 2022, 2021, whatever. The year. I'm excited. I can feel my voice starting to strain. So I'm going to sign off. Thank you as always for watching. I can't believe you watched me ramble this long about goals for an hour, especially when it's all about me. But I appreciate it. I appreciate you. So, I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe. We'll see how my voice feels. Maybe I'll just do a super short one. So, thank you for